Howdy folks, welcome back to Boondockery. It's time for another jumping on the old school bandwagon video, aka stuff I used when I was in the Army. Today's video is going to be focusing on some deals and finds I found. Some of those finds weren't from a store, they were actually from my garage. Stick around, I think you'll enjoy it. Like I said folks, this is a video of some deals and finds, and a good few of the finds I actually found in my garage. Now I've got a ton of stuff that I haven't gone through in 30 plus years. So I'm certain there's a whole bunch more stuff in those boxes that I'm pretty sure is there, but I haven't seen in forever. So as I continue to go through those, I can go ahead and continue to add stuff to these deals and find type videos. Now this is the overview, and I'm going to break it down into lots to talk more about it. Start off with this section here, and some of this stuff I procured recently, some of it I've had for a long time, and some of it was given to me or loaned to me by people that have seen military service in the past. I'm going to start off with these. These are a set of GI issue wire cutters. These are identical to the ones that I used when I was in, and anytime that I went on a recon I always took these things. These things will zip through concertina wire like a hot knife through 550 cord. These things are amazing, and these belong to my dad. He brought them back from when he was in the Army. He served in the 1950s, and so I have no idea what time period he got this. He was in for 8 years, and but these are identical. I mean, even the canvas case is identical to the canvas case that we had hanging in our M113 armored personnel carrier, and I always took these every single time I went on recon. This is another one that's on loan from my dad. I gave this to him, I'm pretty sure, because it is Alice clips, and they did not have Alice when my dad was in, and but it's just a standard canvas M1911A1 magazine pouch, and this is my earplug container from when I was in basic training. At one time it had a piece of yellow tape around it, but I peeled that off and cleaned it up. And of course I replaced the earplugs because the things I had were like these little yellow foam rubber things. They were horrible. These things actually work pretty well. And this is a set of earplugs I picked up later after I was out of the Army. And the best thing about this is you put the earplugs in here, and I'll show you how that works, just in case you're not familiar with this one. Man, I don't know how long this has been. Don't know if that's going to open up or not. There we go. Maybe. But this style of earplug, just put them right in there. Put that in your ear, preferably when it's clean. And they're super easy to put in your ear that way. The foam rubber things I had in basic training were horrible. And sometimes they would fit in, sometimes they wouldn't, and just no fun. So, but there we go. That's good. This is a P38 from when I was in the Army. It has U.S. Malin Shelby O printed on it. You got a little bit of rust there need to clean up, and an original camo stick from when I was in the Army, and got your light green and your loam, and a training grenade. One of the nice things about having to pull guard duty at the firing ranges overnight, you have a lot of free time, so I just walked over to the grenade range. I collected up quite a few of these, given a lot of them away over the years, but picking up the spoons, things like that. There's all kinds of this stuff that I found just laying around that they didn't get during their police call. Now these are very interesting, and these are training device demos, multi-purpose M142. They're basically booby trap kits, and hopefully I can get that back on, but I have 4 of these. I brought these back from when I was in the Army, but there is the I guess detonators, and again, this is demo. None of these are live. These are all the different attachments. You could these are some of the things that you can plug into things like all the claymore mines, different types of devices. There's screws, there's nails, there's string. There is a whole bunch of steel wire in this spool that's in here. There are different spring-loaded mechanisms and things like that. And I believe in one of these there's actually the instructions and a couple more spools of wire, different colors. So, but we had those in our demo kits, and anything that I could procure from when I was in, I did. And so those are them. M203 grenade shell, bug juice, insect repellent, type 2 paint remover, destroy your skin, give you cancer, all the good things you'd want out of an insect repellent. And this, I picked this up a long time ago. I just thought the container was pretty cool. It's been in the garage for so long that it's gotten a little rusty, but it's a great little tin, great little container, and the seal is still good in it. And clips over, but it was a 3-tube ointment for your eyes. It's an eye ointment. There's 3 different tubes that would come in this, and I don't know, maybe that was for people that served in the desert and they were constantly getting sand and stuff like that in their eyes. I don't really know, but the container is pretty cool. Now I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little closer on the C-rats so you can see those a little bit better. Like I've mentioned a few times in my videos, the first year and a half I was in the Army, we were still being issued C-rations before we transitioned to the first round of MREs, which they were hit and miss. Some of them were actually just retort packaged items that were in the C-rations. I mean, like the beef slices and barbecue sauce, they were still exactly the same shape they were when they were in the cans, and things like that. Some of them weren't really good. Some of them were notoriously evil, and but I thought the C-rations tasted better. The C-rations definitely were in no way, shape, or form as practical and as easy to break down and carry as the MREs, but that's, you know, what I had the first year and a half I was in. Now these 3 I actually picked up from a local indoor flea market. This is a B3 unit, crackers and candy. BT unit, cracker and cocoa beverage powder. And this is a tin of peanut butter. Now all 3 of these look to be in fantastic shape, and I am pretty sure in a future video I'm actually going to eat or at least open them up to see if that's at all possible to consume them, these. And I used to do a little recipe with the crackers, because you take the contents out of the tin, and like candy or whatever, there's usually like a John Wayne bars, like a little chocolate what do you call it, toffee type of thing. It was probably the candy that was in there, and then you had like 4 or 5 crackers, and so you take that stuff out of there. There's a piece of paper that goes around, it's corrugated. You take that out, you take the bottom corrugated paper out and the top corrugated paper out, and so you have a lot of space in this. So what I used to do is I used to, whatever it was, peanut butter, it was cheese, it was jelly, I would spread whatever was in the small spread tins on each cracker, put those back in there, and then I would put 1 canteen cap of water in there, usually maybe a little dash more, just to get it right to the surface of the top cracker. And I would heat this up and get it good and boiling, and when it's good and steaming and or come to a boil, settle off for a minute, and then I'd use my c-ration spoon to stir that up. And it was basically either peanut butter pudding, a cheese soup, or a jelly pudding. And I have to, you know, I love that. It was just one of the things you did to break the monotony of the food. Get these out of the way. Now these were all given to me years ago. I had a friend of mine whose dad was in about the same time period as my dad was. So the 1950s. And there was an ammo can out in their barn. And in that ammo can was 3 boxes of c-rations. A couple of them had failed over that time, and the main entree was busted. It was all, the smell was horrible. And at one time I had all the accessory packs too, and I can't find those. And one I opened, and I actually smoked the cigarettes out of them just to see what they would taste like. But the other 2 were intact. I have no idea where they are, but they came with cigarettes back then. This one, B2 crackers and cheese spread. This one is swollen, so that's a no-go. I probably will not even attempt to eat any of these. This is white bread, American Bread Company. Was it Nashville, Tennessee? And this has a little surface rust on it, but not swollen or anything. The B3 unit, cookies, cocoa beverage powder, and jam. And we did not have this when I was in. I do not believe we had anything like that with cookies. This is another B3 unit, the exact same contents. And then pound cake. That was one of my favorite c-ration desserts. I absolutely love pound cake. This one's got a good bit of rust on it, so I don't know, but it's not swollen or anything. Who knows, I might pull a Steve 1989 and open them all up one of these days. Hopefully not get botulism. Now here's some clothing. Now I mentioned another video in this series that I did find my jungle boots. And these are them. These are the ones I had when I was in the Army. And as you can see, I had quite a bit of mileage on these things. Now I could not wear these in garrison because they were green and black. So I only wore them in the field. But they have seen many, many miles of service. And I would be using them now, but my feet have grown since then. I did put these on the other day for the, we had an event at work. It was camo day, and I actually wore those to work with my camouflage stuff, my woodland stuff, and my toes were like this. I was in tremendous pain by the end of the day. But I just wanted to show you those. Of course, replaced the actual shoelaces with 550 cord, and this is actually 550 cord from an actual parachute I got from my buddy Val. He was airborne. Now, this and this were the 2 items that I loved the most when it was cold, because they weren't cumbersome, they weren't bulky, and I was actually warmer in these 2 items than I was with my fuel jacket and liner. This is the venerable 5-button 100% wool sweater. This is the wool field shirt. I'm going to zoom in and let you see the labels real quick, and I'll tell you a little bit more about them. Now, these were items that you had to turn back in to CIF. And I was able to get my hands on one of these 5-button sweaters to bring home. and I literally wore it out. And I looked for them not too long ago, several years ago, because I just got nostalgic, and I remember how comfortable they were. And the ones that were available, they were not 100% wool. This is 100% wool. This is exactly the type that I had when I was in. I found this on eBay, and I paid $30 for it. This looks brand new. There's one tatter on the end of one sleeve. Literally, it's right there. It's about half an inch by a half an inch, and I can sew that up very, very easily. But I'm really looking forward to wearing this winter when I come out to do my bushcrafting or do any of my other videos or anything else like this. But I'm certain I could not fit in the size I had when I was in the Army. This is an extra large, and the one I had when I was in the Army was a large. No, wait, it was a medium. So now this shirt, this was the bomb. I would wear this as a jacket when I was in, and we went to a lot of different places to where it was very warm during the daylight hours, and it dropped way cold in the evenings. So being able to have something that was really, I mean, compared to the M65 field jacket and liner and stuff, this is super lightweight, and this is really, really warm. And as long as it wasn't a real driving wind, this was fantastic. And the combo of these is a lot warmer than, in my humble opinion, than the field jacket was. You're giving up pocket space, but you know, these were just, I love these things. And so I searched for them. I found this on eBay, and I paid $35 for this. And this literally is like brand new. It had probably been laundered once, but it fits great. This is an extra large. And I don't know if you noticed it when I held up the labels, or the tags that are inside this. This was, I think, 13 September 1956. This was not the same style I had when I was in, because when I was in, the pockets were shorter. These pockets are really deep, which I really, really like. And again, I can't wait to wear that this winter. And yeah, also the lettering on the tab for U.S. Army is different than the one I was issued. It seems like the letters are more narrow on these, and they're closer together than the one I had. But as you can see, it's in fantastic shape, and I just have to make certain that I personally hand wash them whenever I need to. But with wearing proper base layers, things like that, as long as they don't get too soiled on the exterior, they're not going to be laundered very often. Now, I saw this at the indoor flea market that I frequent, and I was looking at this. It's like, oh, that's mosquito netting. That's pretty good color. I like that. Well, I went over, picked it up. It was sort of an odd shape. It was sewn together in a real weird way, and they have these little green tabs of really thin webbing and stuff on it. And I started looking at it, and I'm like, this is the exact same dimensions and shape as a pup tent. And so I came home, I went and bought it. It was only like $8 or something like that. I went and bought it, and it's brand new. It's brand new, never been used. And did a little research, and lo and behold, I was never issued one of these. I had no clue they even existed. But the USGI pup tent, these literally go over the top of them. And those little webbings, those tie into the same grommet areas, or the rope that the stakes go into. So you can tie them down like that. But there's not an entrance and an exit like there is on the pup tent. You have to lift it up on the end, and when you get back in, you have to secure the loop on the tent stake at the two end corners. But that right there, I thought was pretty cool. And the next pup tent video I do, I'm going to be trying this out for the first time. I won't need to by then because it'll be too cold, but at least I'll be able to put it on there for a demo and just to show you how it's used. Now the next little piece is also on loan from my dad. I actually gave this to him. I had procured several of these before I got out of the Army, and over the years they either disappeared or I sold one or something like that, but I remember giving this to my dad. And this is real similar to the design they used in World War II, except the one they used in World War II had a single strap and it went across the body. It still had the belt loop on it so you could put it on your belt. But this one actually goes on over your shoulder and right there on your D-ring, and you put your pistol in it. And now I have a Kimber Desert Warrior. I sold my M1911A1 after my house fire to get some extra cash, so I don't actually own my own yet. And Dad couldn't find his magazines for it, so I went ahead and put one of my Chip McCormick 10 round magazines in there. But this is the standard configuration as you're supposed to wear it. And ever since I got to D10 Cav, right out of basic training, I was on a tank for a year, which is a nightmare for a scout to have to be on a tank. They condition you that way. But anyway, it was fun. I enjoyed it. So I was in there for a year. Every single position on the tank that I occupied, I had a 45. When I was a loader, I had a 45 M2 M3 grease gun. When I was a driver, M2 M3 grease gun, M1911. When I was a gunner, M1911A1 and an M2 M3 grease gun. When I was a tank commander, just the M1911A1. When I was a scout, by the time I had gotten there, I raised in rank, so I was always a vehicle commander, so I always had a 45 in addition to an M16A1, and whatever crew serve weapon was there was my primary responsibility as well, whether or not that was an M2 50 caliber machine gun, which was on Air 113s, or the original tow vehicles that we had with the tow spindle that popped up out of the platform behind, or an M60 machine gun that was on the improved tow vehicle. Well, GIs being as they are, we get innovative. So we thought it'd be kind of cool if we would go full on 1960s, 1970s private detective mode, and we simply just repositioned the shoulder strap to the back strap, and wore it like this. Now, of course, we kept our distance from Sergeant Major, but the beautiful thing about this, you don't have to mess with the buckle to take it on and off. And you have full access to open up your blouse, whatever, and it's just a whole lot more comfortable. So this right here, I'm going to get back to my dad, but I am going to be getting one on my own, and I also have an M1911 that's currently available that looks really good, and I will have my nostalgia fix done as far as my firearms go, because I'll have my partner to my AR-15A1, so I'll be able to play with that. Now here's the last find that I'm going to be sharing with you today. Since I've been doing this video, I've been looking for affordable surplus of things that I had when I was in. and I wanted to be able to get a few different items to where I could have different types of rigs. I want to do one exactly like the one I had when I was in, not the one that was like, you know, the one I'm carrying now. And so I've been really looking, and it is very, very difficult to find this age of surplus in good shape at a good price. So I was looking for the pistol belts in my size, which now my size is large. When I was in, it was definitely medium, and I could take it in quite a bit. Well, my medium pistol belts don't fit anymore. So I was looking for a large pistol belt. I also wanted to get a canvas butt pack. Even though I did not use one when I was in the military, I used them quite a bit when I got out of the military. Well, I don't have any of those anymore, so I've been on a quest. Well, I'll go ahead and share a couple screenshots of, I think it's Omaha Surplus. Has a huge inventory, really great selection. However, because of the collectability of these items now, they're a little pricey. So a used butt pack in serviceable condition is going, I think it was like, and you'll see it on the screenshots, but I think it's like $59, something like that. And one that is basically new, old stock, is running for $120. And looking for them on eBay is a nightmare, because you have a butt pack that's in great shape, very obviously from the 1980s, and they are labeling it as a Vietnam War vintage butt pack, and they're wanting astronomical amounts of money for them. But anyway, I had to put that on back burner because I ain't got the monies. And so after church one day, took my wife and my grandkids over to a restaurant in Logan, Ohio, and after we ate at the Old Dutch buffet, we went over to the Logan Antique Mall. And about the last booth that I walked into before we were going to leave, I saw this hanging on a coat rack. And I'm looking at it, I don't know. I just went over, I'll check the pistol belt to see, you know, if it's in decent shape, the size and stuff like that. Well, when I got closer, I noticed this. And then I pulled it around, and completely ignoring everything else on this rig, I started looking at it. I'm like, wow, this is in remarkably good shape. This looks exactly like the stuff from the 80s. And so I went ahead and, you know, I opened it up, and because I knew the inner waterproof collar is just going to be ate up. Look at this. That thing looks brand new. Look at that. Isn't it amazing? It's amazing. I love it. And so I'm giving it the once over. It's a little dirty, but that's it. And the interior of it. Look at the interior of it. It looks new as well. It's not even dirty. So I'm looking around. I said, "Oh wow, man, this has got to be really expensive." And so I looked at it, and it's like, there's a M16 magazine pouch. Oh wow, that's like new. Of course, it's been exposed to sunlight or something over a period of time, because, you know, that faded out. And there's like a new first aid pouch. And go over here, and I'm like, that canteen pouch looks pretty good shape. I mean, that's like new. It's got some impressions of whatever it was laying on. Open it up, pull it out. Well, looky there. That looks new. This canteen, it's dirty, but it looks new. And the surefire thing is you got to smell it. And it's new, never been used. So I'm going around, I'm looking at this, finding more stuff on it. And it has my least favorite harness, which is the Y harness. And the reason it's my least favorite harness is that when you take it off, it's really easy for the pistol belt and the pouches and things like that to get twisted in there over like that. They get snagged and you have to fight with it and they're flopping around. It's just not as easy to put on and take off as the H harness. I got an extra Alice clip there, and on the front, 2 more first aid pouches. They can also be used for compasses. Again, brand new. So the pistol belt's obviously not new, and it's a one of the older styles. I actually was issued one of these when I was in. I had 3 different styles of, well, 2 different styles of pistol belts when I was in. This was one of them. So I'm looking at it, it's okay. What's the size? Belt, individual, equipment, blah, blah. Size, large. So I had the 2 main things I was searching for. And so now I'm looking for the price tag. And when I find it, the entire rig, everything that was on this, $35 firm. No negotiations, 35 bucks. Mine. So I paid my 35 bucks, went home happy with some decent loot. Extra stuff that I will find a use for, but definitely the pistol belt and the butt pack. It was worth spending the 2+ hours we spent with the grandkids walking through the antique malls. Don't touch that, don't touch that, be careful with that, look with your eyes, especially the like glass things that are very, very expensive. But yeah, it was a great day all the way around, and had some awesome loot to show for it. Well folks, hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully some of this nostalgia tickled your fancy, and you enjoyed seeing the stuff again, as I enjoyed finding it again and sharing it with you. As I find more stuff, as I pick more stuff up, I'll do more of these videos, and hopefully you'll enjoy those as well. Well folks, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.